It is 4:47 p.m. on a Thursday in Mississauga. A licensed broker is sitting in front of 43 separate PDF files. Each is a policy renewal from a different carrier. His compliance deadline to clear this queue is 6 p.m. tomorrow. He opens the next file, scans the premium, the deductible, and the coverage limits. They all match last year. He stamps it and moves on. What he misses, what human fatigue guarantees will eventually be missed at this volume, is that the carrier silently dropped personal injury coverage on page 7. 12 months later, his client slips on an icy driveway. The claim is denied. The brokerage is now staring down a $340,000 errors and omissions lawsuit because a single sentence moved in the dark. This diagram maps where we are in the agent tree. Today, we are looking at Quandri. They built a system specifically to eliminate this failure mode, mapping directly to Agent 26, the financial advisory agent. These are the exact metrics required to replace that manual workflow. The system compresses hours of broker labor into a 15-minute cycle per renewal, and critically, it maintains a 99.9% triage accuracy on actioned files. In a regulated financial sector, processing documents at machine speed without a strict compliance gate is not an upgrade. It is simply a faster way to ship an expensive liability. The scale of this manual bottleneck is massive. There are roughly 36,000 independent brokerages in the US and another 5,000 in Canada. A mid-size shop handles anywhere from 5,000 to 25,000 of these renewals every year. Every single one arrives as a raw PDF from dozens of different carriers, each using their own unique layout. Capital is aggressively targeting this inefficiency. By 2026, the global insurance automation market is projected to pass $15 billion. While consumer AI focuses on generating novel text or creative advice, the actual engineering problem here is structural. It requires architecting a topology that makes bad advice physically impossible to ship. The objective is not creative generation. It is building an uncrackable pipeline of perception and gated reasoning. This architecture diagram shows the system in action, starting at the ingestion layer. Naive OCR fails against 40 shifting carrier templates, so the pipeline splits immediately. Native PDFs route through PyMove PDF, while scanned documents fall back to Tesseract OCR with custom deskewing. The actual document understanding relies on Layout LM v3. Instead of reading a page left to right as a single string of text, it maps the page into coordinate-aware token sequences. It reads spatially, which allows it to extract data from erratic layouts. Extraction is then divided. A fine-tuned Roberta model handles named entity recognition, pulling the premium, limits, and endorsements. For the tabular data on the declarations page, a transformer called Topos parses the grid into structured JSON. When a document is heavily watermarked or contains an embedded scan where OCR completely fails, the system triggers a bypass. It sends the raw image through a small ResNet 18 vision branch. That vision branch rescues key value pairs in 70% of those edge cases, costing the pipeline just 200 milliseconds of latency per image. The perceive layer operates as an adversarial gauntlet. It is specifically engineered to extract structured truth from inherently chaotic visual noise. Once structured, we move down the pipeline to the reason layer. The agent compares this year's extracted JSON to last year's, retrieving previous policy data from a vector store to execute a precise field-by-field diff. This step introduces the hardest engineering problem in the entire pipeline: materiality ambiguity. Carrier A might write personal injury. Carrier B might write liability for bodily harm. It is identical coverage, but a naive string matching tool will flag every rewording as a massive change, drowning the broker in false positives. To solve this, the agent runs a semantic diff using sentence-BERT embeddings. The materiality classifier is trained via contrastive learning, fed with massive sets of labeled change and no change pairs, so it learns to group semantically equal phrasing together. The statistical tuning here is highly deliberate. The model uses an F-beta score where beta equals 2. This optimizes the system for recall, weighted 2-to-1 over precision. This tuning is necessary to handle an extreme class imbalance. Only about 0.5% of renewals actually contain a material change. The engineering trade-off is clear. The firm accepts about 500 false positive alerts per year. In exchange, they guarantee 0 catastrophic missed exclusions. This brings us to the strict boundary of the system, the compliance gate. When a material change breaches the threshold, the agent explicitly stops, surfaces a visual diff with a confidence score, and routes the file to a human broker. If the renewal passes, an immutable, time-stamped audit log is generated. It records exactly what changed, what scored, and who approved it. This permanently satisfies the structural requirements of an explainable agent. The system also employs a fail-close defense mechanism against carrier format drift. If a carrier redesigns a form and the extraction confidence scores drop, the pipeline automatically halts and flags the document rather than guessing. Finally, the loop closes. Every time a human broker clicks a correct or incorrect flag on an escalation, that signal feeds directly back into the materiality model through online learning. The architecture does not replace human judgment. It structures the workflow so rigorously that human judgment becomes fully auditable and legally defensible. Zooming out to the 2026 competitive landscape, we can see how the market is dividing the automation of the insurance value chain. Quandry operates as a pure-play automation tool for brokers. They sit in direct contrast to massive incumbents like Applied Systems, who acquired Indio to build out their own ecosystem, and competitors like Roots Automation, deploying digital coworkers. This timeline tracks the rapid capital and adoption of this point solution layer. By 2024, specialized platforms were already processing over 1 million policy renewals annually. The strategic insights here is that the most defensible AI deployments are not flashy. They are the systems that automate workflows so unglamorous, repetitive, and structurally essential that the switching costs become prohibitive. When a platform delivers a verified 99.9% accuracy SLA, a brokerage adopting the system is effectively transferring a portion of their E&O exposure to the vendor. The software becomes risk transfer as a service. In regulated domains, the engineering rule is absolute. Build the compliance gate before you build the SPE.